A very warm welcome to the biology class. I am Manjusha from Government Senior Secondary School, Kattu, District, Barnala. Today we are going to study monocot and dicot root. Here in this slide you can see the angiosperms have two classes, monocot and dicot. By the end of this lecture, you will know anatomical structure of monocot root, anatomical structure of dicot root, difference between monocot root and dicot root. Now about the monocot plants. We must know basics about the monocots and dicots. Plants that are characterized by the presence of single cotyledon in their seed are called monocot plants. Generally, monocots have parallel venation in their leaves. Some examples of monocot plants are maize plant, banana plant, rice, all grasses, bamboo and the lilies. Dicot plants. Dicot plants are characterized by presence of two cotyledons in their seeds. Dicots generally have a reticulate venation in their leaves. Some examples of dicot plants are rose, mustard, cotton and sunflower.
I have a maize plant here. You can see these are the roots. A dicot plant. It's a lady finger. It's from the family Malvaceae. Here you can see the fruit, leaves. This is a stem and root to which we are concerned today. This is a tap root. Now root specimens are ready for study. Let us take TS and study under microscope.
In the schematic diagram, you can see the outermost layer is epiblema. Next to epiblema is cortex. And next to cortex is a layer called as the endodermis. Inside the endodermis, there is a layer that is called as the pericycle. Next to the pericycle is vascular cylinder ring. We are to study monocot and dicots side by side. We will study a comparative form. It will be in the tabular form. So without wasting time, we are to start the chapter. Here you can see an anatomical structure showing different layers. Now we start with the first and outermost layer of the root are epiblema, piliferous layer or rhizodermis. In the case of root, epiblema is also called piliferous layer or rhizodermis. Generally it is called as epidermis, but in case of roots it is called as a epiblema. In monocot root and dicot root, you can see in both the tables, the outermost layer is made up of thin-walled parenchymatous cells. Outermost layer is made up of thin-walled parenchymatous cells. It bears the root hair that are called trichoblast. Root hairs are called as the trichoblast. And next point, it is also, this layer is also called, I have already told you, piliferous layer. Root hair possess gummy pectic layer to cement with the soil to retain water. It makes a good grip of the root with the soil. Next is it absorbs water and mineral salts from the soil. Its function is to absorb mineral and water salts and the water from the soil. Here you can see in the anatomical structure, it's a epidermis bearing root here. Similar in the dicot root, it is epidermis having root here. Now, we must know about the stem here and the root here. It is a little thing of the knowledge. When we see the slides in the exam, sometimes we cannot recognize the slide of the root and the stem. From the here, you can easily recognize the slide. Is it the slide of stem or the root? Stem here are generally multicellular, root here are generally unicellular. They are additional cells in themselves, not outgrowths. In the root, there are simply outgrowths of the epiblema cells. Here you can see they are simply outgrowths of the epiblema cells. No additional cells are seen here, neither in monocot nor in dicot root. Next point, may be branched or unbranched. The hair may be branched or unbranched. Here are not branched, it is always unbranched. Here you can see unbranched here in these both of these diagrams. Next point, the cells of epidermis in stem here are heavily cutinized. The cells are not cutinized. Here the cells are not cutinized in the root here because they are to absorb water. Long-lived cells, short-lived cells. Here the root hair cells are short-lived. In the case of stem, the cells are long-lived. They prevent or reduce the rate of the transpiration. They are cutinized, so they prevent the water loss from the plant. But here they take part in absorption from the soil. Here you can know why the cells are not cutinized, because they are to take part in absorption of the water from the soil. Next, here the schematic example I have shown you before. Cortex, there is epidermis. Next is cortex. If we study the cortex of the monocot root, it is very wide. Comparatively, the cortex of the dicot root is narrower. It is a parenchymatous layer in both monocot and dicot. It has intercellular spaces for the exchange of gases. Same here, it has intercellular spaces for the exchange of gases. Now you can know where is the difference. There is a difference. Cortex is very wide. Here cortex is narrower. If we discuss about the functions of the cortex, then its first function is food storage. Secondly, conduction of the water from epiblema to the inner tissues. In older roots, outer layers of the cortex become thick-walled and suberized, called as the exodermis. Now in the next slide, you can see the next, here after the cortex there is another layer, endodermis. Here you can also see epidermis, cortex, and then endodermis. Here I have highlighted this layer. This is called as the endodermis. Now move to the next slide. What is the difference between endodermis of monocot root and dicot root? Monocot root is single layer barrel shaped cell. Endodermis is single layer barrel shaped cells. Similar here, the single layered barrel shaped cells. No intercellular spaces are seen in the endodermis in both cases, monocot and dicot roots. Casparian strips are present in both monocot and dicot root. Casparian strips are formed of suberin and lignin thickening bands on the radial and the tangential walls. Here you can see the Casparian strips in radial and tangential walls. These are Casparian strips. These are thickenings of suberin and lignin. Now move to the next point. They prevent the plasmolysis of endodermal cells. Moving to the next point, they prevent plasmolysis of endodermal cells. Similar here, prevent plasmolysis of endodermal cells. These Casparian strips act as a biological check post. They don't let water inside the tissue. Casparian strips are visible in young root only. Casparian strips are very prominent in the dicot root. In the endodermis of monocot root, endodermal cells become highly thickened later on. In dicot root, endodermis is less thickened. These cells, endodermis, in the monocot root, endodermal cells become highly thickened later on. While in dicot root, endodermis is less thickened, it remains unthickened. These cells don't allow the wall-to-wall movement of the substances between cortex and pericycle. Here you can also see the endodermis in the case of monocot roots and in case of dicot roots. These are the points we discussed about this endodermis. Here, these cells don't allow wall-to-wall movement of the substances between cortex and the pericycle. Here is the cortex, here is the pericycle. Inside the endodermis is pericycle, outside the endodermis is cortex. So, wall-to-wall movement of substances is stopped by endodermis because these cells are thickened cells due to the suberin and the lignin. Next point, the substances must enter the cytoplasm of the cell. Then how will move the substances? Substances will move through the cells after entering into the cytoplasms of the cells. Here, same here, substances must enter the cytoplasm of cell. They can move, but they will have to enter the cytoplasm of the cell. Next, endodermal cells lying opposite to the protoxylem groups remain in the primary stage. These are called unthickened cells or the transfusion cells. Here in front of protoxylem, this is the protoxylem lying outside. Metaxylem is lying inside. Xylem cells, where the protoxylem. Here you can see the protoxylem cell. Same, these diagrams are there, same. You can see monocot, in the case of monocot, protoxylem is here. In case of dicot, protoxylem is here. These, in front of the protoxylem, the cells are not thickened. They allow the water to pass. They allow the substances to pass in case of the monocot. Yes. These unthickened cells are called transfusion cells, but in case of dicot, there are no such transfusion cells are present. Here, you can see the next layer, pericycle. This is blue colored next to the endodermis. In these, here you can see also the pericycle inside the endodermis, in monocot root and in dicot root. Now, the structure of the pericycle, it is multi-layered in some plants, it is single-layered in some plants. Different plants have different structure of the pericycle. also called the outer boundary of the vascular strand. It's also called the outer boundary of the vascular strand. Thin walled and the parenchymatous cells are found in the young roots. It later becomes thick walled, but in case of dicot root, it remains thin walled and parenchymatous. It doesn't get thickened. Now next, all the lateral roots originate from the pericycle. It's very important point. All the lateral roots originate from the pericycle. Where is pericycle? Next to the endodermis. From here the lateral roots arise. Now, moving to the next point. No cambium development in the monocots takes place. This is the very important point. Vascular cambium and cord cambium develop from this layer because there is a secondary growth in dicots, but there is no secondary growth in monocots. That's why there is no cambium, but here is the cambium. So next point, we compare the layers in the pericycle. In case of maize, it's a single layer. Here in dicots, single layered pericycle is seen in the sunflower. Next, multi-layered pericycle is seen in the smilax, and multi-layered pericycle example is mulberry tree. Now, this I have shown you previously, the various layers in the dicot root, various layers in the monocot root, all epidermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle. Till now we have done all these layers. Now next is the vascular cylinder. Now what is vascular cylinder? Vascular cylinder includes the phloem and the xylem. Here you see protoxylem, metaxylem, phloem. In same here, protoxylem, metaxylem and the phloem. These are collectively called as the vascular bundle. Vascular cylinder or the vascular bundle, if we compare that in the monocots and the dicots, you will see monocot roots in the form of several 8 or more alternate radial xylem and phloem bundles. They are arranged radially. Here the bundles are very few, 2 to 6 in number, alternately arranged bundles of xylem and phloem. Alternately arranged means once xylem then phloem. Alternately arranged. Arranged in the form of ring around the central peak. In monocots, you will see a conspicuous ring of the bundles. Arranged in the ring around the central pith. Here the xylem bundles are exarch. That protoxylem lies outside towards the pericycle. Xylem bundles are also here exarch. Protoxylem lies towards outside. Metaxylem towards inside. When the condition is metaxylem towards inside, protoxylem towards outside, it's called exarch condition. You can learn it by trick. DR, doctor. RX means exarch. The dicot root contains exarch condition. Root contains exarch condition. As there are multiple xylem bundles, it can be polyarch. Depending upon the number of the xylem bundles, it can be diarch, triarch, tetrarch, pentarch and exarch. Now, In this slide, you can see xylem is made up of rounded and oval vessels and parenchyma. Here you can see xylem, this red color shows a xylem. It's made up of rounded or oval vessels, monocot root, rounded or oval vessels. Xylem consists of vessels and few tracheids. Here, xylem is smaller. Here, it's very conspicuous. Then next to the next point, rounded and oval outline is shown. It's very clear. Here you can see rounded and oval outline. Here polygonal in outline. When you see this diagram, let me show you another. Here you can see in dicot root, it's polygonal. These structures are polygonal and these are oval. Protoxylem vessels are narrow and a spiral, annular and reticular thickening. In vessels there are which type of thickening? Spiral, annular or reticular thickenings. Here same here, the protoxylem vessels have narrow and have spiral, annular, reticulate or scleriform thickenings. Here scleriform thickenings are also seen. Next point, metaxylem elements are larger and wider and are having pitted thickenings. Metaxylem vessels are broad and they have pitted thickenings. Next. Now, it's very necessary to know which part is functioning, which type of work. It's very necessary to know the functions of the xylem in the both type of roots. Here you can see monocot root, the functions of xylem, mechanical strength is provided by the xylem. Same here, the functions of the xylem, mechanical strength is provided to the dicot root also. Next function is conduction of water and the minerals. In similar here, conduction of water and the minerals. Next point, conjunctive tissue. It separates the xylem and phloem. Here same, conjunctive tissue, it separates the xylem and phloem. But difference is here, later on conjunctive tissue becomes sclerified and here later on conjunctive tissue becomes meristematic and becomes the vascular cambium. Now, difference in the phloem. In monocot root, phloem consists of sieve tube and companion cells. Here, the phloem consists of sieve tube, companion cells and phloem parenchyma. Phloem conducts food from the shoot to root. Phloem conducts food from shoot to root in case of dicot also. But difference lies here. No distinction between protophlloem and metaphlloem is present in case of monocot root. There is a difference of protophlloem as protophlloem lies on the outer side in the dicot root. Here you can see protoxylem, xylem, phloem is here. In case of this protophyllum, protophlloem. Now, innermost part is pith. Differences in the pith. Monocot root bears parenchymatous pith. Here, pith is often absent or in very small size. It's not conspicuous. Cells may be rounded or angular. If present, pith is quite small and there are intercellular spaces present in monocots. intercellular spaces between cells of the pith are completely absent. Pith cells store food in case of monocots. Here the cells store food as well as waste materials. In dicots, cells store food as well as waste materials. Now, let us recapitulate the topic. First question is, what is conjunctive tissue? It is a strip of the tissue between the xylem and the phloem. Next question, from where do the lateral roots originate? Answer is pericycle. Question number 3. In which layer are the Casparian strips present? Endodermis. Question number 4. What type of pith is present in the monocots? It's larger, made up of parenchymatous cells. It stores food. Question number 5. What type of conditions of xylem is present in the roots? It's exarch condition. Protoxylem towards outside, metaxylem towards inside of the stem.
Now, question number 5. What type of condition of the xylem is present in the roots? It's exarch. This was all about today's topic. It was comparative study of monocots and dicots. Keep revising. Thank you.